Yes, people, we're back again for another edition of the best Spurs 11 of our lifetime. And today we've got another Spurs commentator with us in Mr. Mark Taylor. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, gentlemen. How are yourself?
Yes, I'm good, mate. I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for being here, Mark. We really appreciate it. Sheriff, how are you, sir?
All okay, mate. All okay. 3 members of the Mark Army.
At least we're not in someone's chat hashtagging Mark Army everywhere.
Well,
Happy days. All right, mate. How are you, Mark? Are you all right? How you been?
I'm very well, mate. Yeah, up north now, so yeah, loving the Yorkshire lifestyle.
Why not indeed? Why not indeed? Happy days. Great stuff. Okay, Mark, we'll get into it. Do you want to bring the pitch up, sir?
I certainly will. There you go, mate.
Look at that. Happy days. So Mark's picked his formation. Is that a 4-1-3-2, Mark?
It's a 4-1-3-2, absolutely, yes.
Okay, sir. Happy days. So that's brilliant. We're ready to go. So, Mr. Taylor, could you give us the goalkeeper of your lifetime, please?
Right. The goalkeeper of my lifetime is a guy from the 60s, 70s and 80s, an international legend, one of the greatest keepers that have ever lived, not only at Spurs but in the world. It is none other than Pat Jennings.
Go on, Pat. You can tell the elderly statesmen are on tonight.
That was just for Sava, mate.
Yeah.
The elderly statesman.
Oh, mate, what can you say about Pat, Mark? What a goalkeeper. What a man. What a goalkeeper. What a legend.
Absolute legend. Loved on both sides, by the way, which is unheard of in any other football team, I think, mate.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Pat.
Hands like shovels.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely. Fantastic. Okay, Mark, we'll move on to your back four and we'll start with your left back, please, sir.
My left back is Danny Rose.
So, was there any competition with Danny Rose at all for you, Mark?
It's one of the positions that I was scratching my head to think of too many other really top quality left backs we've had in my lifetime, to be honest. I was a little bit, there's been some good ones, but no real absolute standout ones. For me, I thought Danny Rose, the 2-3 years he had at Spurs, were as good as what I saw from a left back at Spurs, yeah.
He was all right, wasn't he, to be honest? Yeah. He was fantastic.
The old 30-yarder on his debut. We'll have some of that, won't we? Eh?
Absolutely.
Again, the first two are very popular choices.
Yeah, they are. So far, they're very popular. Okay, Mark, we'll move on to your left centre-back, sir, please.
This is going to make one of the Marks not very happy. It's going to be Sol Campbell.
Ooh.
I'm not sure I want to type that in.
You don't have to, Mark. For this one, I'll authorise it. You can just put soulless.
Okay.
All right? Just so it makes you feel a little bit better. Tell us about Sol Campbell a little bit, Mark. Just what you remember.
Well, I thought he's unbelievable, a right rock. In a Spurs era that sometimes was very much of a struggle, he was head and shoulders above a lot of the players that are around that time, and ridiculously a well-respected Premier League player. Even today, I know we don't want to speak about it because he moved to the other side, but unbelievable. There was other candidates. Graham Roberts, another one. Gary Mabbott.
Yeah.
Jan Vertonghen. There was other, but I couldn't leave Sol out, I don't think.
No, it's a fine choice.
That's very honest of you to put him in now, I will admit.
Yeah. It's a very split choice between the fan base, isn't it? A lot of people still won't have it the way that he went, and when things like this come up, they just won't have him in the team, Yeah. Some people do, some people don't. It's very, very split. But yeah, another great choice, Mark. Brilliant stuff, mate. We'll move on, Mark, to your right centre back, mate, please.
It can only be the one person who was ridiculous in the 2000 eras was Ledley King.
I had a feeling his name was going to be said.
Yeah, unbelievable. Just pure quality. He couldn't train. He couldn't do this and other. But boy, could he defend! Ridiculous player. Unbelievable.
Yeah, totally.
Well, his training was basically swimming.
Yeah, like a bit like Paul McGrath. Yeah, a bit like Paul McGrath. Man United just couldn't train because of his knees and that. But what a player!
Yeah, and Mark, how much better do you think he could have been if his knees had been okay? I mean, was there more levels to come from him? Do you believe?
Well, I think if his knees had been better, I think the likes of AC Milan and some of the top European teams around in that era would have definitely been interested in him. He was that good.
Yeah. I agree, Mark. I agree with you totally. What a player, mate.
Rolls Royce.
Just superb. Yeah. Great stuff, Mark. Great pick so far, mate. And we'll move on to the last one in your back four, your right back, mate, please.
Again, this can only be Carl Walker, probably the best right back that's ever been in the Premier League, or very arguably to be.
Yeah, he was superb for us, wasn't he, Mark? And obviously when he moved on, went and won a lot of trophies and proved how good he really was.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints. He gave it his all. He wanted to try something different and win trophies. So, that doesn't disguise or hinder what he did for Spurs. Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Them two fullbacks you got there were part of the meanest defence in Europe for at least a year. Might have been two.
Yeah, that's another reason. I mean, them two bombing down the side, the wings were just a joy, to be honest. And it seems so long ago now to compare to what we got now, but unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Great picks, mate.
Again, another popular choice.
Yeah.
So four of them have been very popular. I wouldn't say the other ones.
It's a fine back four, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah.
It's a fine back four, in all honesty. Okay, Mark, we'll move on. We'll move on to your one and only central midfielder in there.
Yeah.
So.
This one is more of a defensive midfielder, I thought, to complement the other three who were more attacking. I was toyed between Stevie Perryman, but I've gone, absolute club legend who I grew up with, idolising, but I've gone for an absolute beast, Moussa Dembele.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Moussa's been very popular indeed, I would say.
He certainly has been.
Yeah.
He certainly has been.
What was it in Moussa that you loved, Mark? What was it about him? Anything in specifically?
He just made it look so easily. He'd nick a ball, stride 30 yards, have a shot. It just looked so easy, and nobody could push him off the ball. Strong, unbelievable player. Unbelievable.
Yeah, man.
I believe there was at least a year, might have been more, that he never got dispossessed in the game.
Yeah, I could well believe it.
Yeah, I'm sure I read that somewhere. It was like a year, 18 months, where in the league, his passes might have been intercepted.
Yeah.
But actually tackling him, nobody. And you only got to speak to the players that train with him. They were like, who's the hardest in training? Moussa, you just can't get a ball off him. It's his ball, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, great choice again, Mark. So we'll move on to your three now. So we'll start with your number 11, your left attacking winger, midfielder. Yeah, whatever.
Well, for me personally, this guy just lit up every time he played. Ridiculous player. Unbelievable. It went on to bigger, better things, to be honest. It's Gareth Bale.
I knew that was coming. I was going to put his name in, but I don't want to look silly in there straight away.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Harry Redknapp's got a lot to do with this, Mark, hasn't he? Because moving him from left back into a sort of left midfield position, and then into other positions, if you like, around the team, but predominantly a left midfielder. And what a player, mate. I mean, when we're talking about, levels, this geezer, even at Spurs before he went to Madrid, was unbelievable.
Well, I think we can always remember the night that Maicon faced Gareth Bale into Milan, and he tore them apart. He tore Maicon, at the time was one of the best right backs in the world. He tore him apart.
Yeah.
Now, I'm getting fed up with saying this. Everyone that picks Gareth Bale, I have the same 3 words: taxi for Maicon. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. As you said, one of the best fullbacks in the world at the time, and Gareth Bale just tore him a new one. And after that, Maicon was never the same.
Literally his career was over after that.
Yeah. He's just one of them players for me. He had a bit of everything, didn't he? He had the pace, he had the power, he had the touch, he had technical ability, he had everything, didn't he? He just had everything. And he was one of, when we talk regularly now about a player, getting bums off seats and you hear the seats clicking, he was one of them players.
Yeah. It pains me to say the likes of that quality again, Spurs signing, I just can't see it, I'm afraid.
But when we got him, he was nothing. He was only a kid.
No.
He was 16, 17-year-old from Southampton.
Yeah. 5 million quid money or something like that.
It wasn't much, was it?
Yeah.
No.
But to be honest, dare I say it, he got even better when he went to Real Madrid. You know what he done? How many Champions Leagues? Overhead kicks.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculous what he done.
Yeah. Fantastic player. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay, Mark, we'll move on. We'll go across to your central attacking player there. Your number 8, mate, please.
Well, it can only be, as a child growing up, having words with my dad and saying who's the guy, it has to be Le God, Hoddle.
I nearly put that in again.
Brilliant. Mark, can you just try and just give us a couple of minutes about what it was that Glenn Hoddle was to fans for Tottenham?
One of the greatest stories that I ever heard and watched at the time in Europe, Spurs were in Europe, and Archibald scored 3 or 4 goals and Glenn Hoddle set up everyone. And the great young Cruyff was playing for Feyenoord, I believe, at the end of the game, gave him his shirt. And I just thought, this man's unbelievable. The likes of him we've not seen or will ever see again in this country or around the world, because, tactics and things don't change. But at the time, so respected by all the players now after he's finished his career. But he went to under Arsene Wenger and they won the French Championship and stuff like that, played in a further position. Unbelievable. Ridiculous player. As I said, Le God.
As I've said about the God, now he is obviously a very, very popular choice. As I've said about Mr. Hoddle, like, if he was anything but English, if he was French, Spanish, any other nation in Europe, he'd have over 100 caps for his country.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. It's just in this country, it was 4-4-2. The 2 midfielders had to be hard as nails, kick everyone off the pitch.
Yeah, be Ray Wilkins.
He didn't learn to accommodate players like Hoddle.
Yeah.
I don't think Ron Greenwood really appreciated Hoddle very much.
No.
Did he?
No.
He didn't get it, did he?
No, I've said I'm not old enough to have seen Jimmy Greaves or any of the great 60s team, but Hoddle's the best player I've ever seen play for us.
Yeah. I think all three of us on this show can 1,000,000% agree with that statement.
There's some that have come close to Glenn. I nearly called him God, but there's one that has come close to him, but he's not on Glenn's level.
Who's that?
I can't say, mate. It's not my team. I'm sure you can guess, though.
I would say, personally, and this may be biased, I think he's probably the greatest passer of a football with both feet that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. He's just amazing player. Amazing player. We'll move on from Glenn, chaps, and we will move over. Yeah, well, we can't devote the show to Glenn as much.
Yeah.
Good idea, Mark. We'll do a show on Glenn. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Great shout, that. We'll move over to your right attacking player, Mark. Your number 7, please.
It was a toss-up between two people, but this guy had to be in it. It's none other than Paul Gascoigne.
This is the one that I said was close to Glenn.
Yeah. Different type of player, but yeah, he was more of a dribbler, Gascoigne.
Yeah.
Unbelievable skill, unbelievable.
Any memories of Gaza, Mark, that you can tell us about, at the games or things that, you can remember about him?
Well, he just had everything, 5 defenders in front of it, and he just glide past them just easily. But he had power. He had everything. The ball just stuck to his feet. You look at some of the goals. He's got 20 goals in the season from midfield or something. It was just ridiculous. Free kicks, anything he could do. He could do anything. To be honest, he could walk on water. Could Gaza?
Yeah, he certainly could.
And that's with all his other problems as well.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
Because the press didn't help Gaza.
No. It was such a shame. It just the way it ended with the broken leg, and it was a terrible shame.
It was. But he's still a legend for us at the end of the day, and that is why he's in your team, Mark. Brilliant stuff. So we'll move on, Mark. You got 2 up front. So we'll go with your number 10 first, Mark, if that's all right. Your left-handed sided one.
Yes. The first time I heard this guy was going to sign for Spurs, I thought, why do we want that cheating, diving, exclamation.
I'll start filling his name in then.
Yeah, and when he scored a certain goal against Sheffield Wednesday, I was just like, oh my God, this guy is just pure and utter quality. It is Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah. Mark, did you have... I'm not going to take away from Jurgen in a minute. I'll let you talk about him. I know you've got another attacker to go, but with the plethora of attackers we've had over the years, how difficult was it for you to pick your 2 up front?
It was difficult. I wasn't going to put in Bobby Smith, Jimmy Greaves, or Martin Chivers, or any people hadn't been on. Yeah. I try to go towards more my area and what I saw, but I just loved the way Klinsmann played football, the way he glided, he headed, left foot, right foot. When I remember him signing, as I said, it was all negative, a lot of it. We don't want him, he's diving. And he just changed our mind like that. We just knew he had a quality player, and he just did not disappoint at all. Did not disappoint.
In my opinion, that man there that you've just picked is the last player that we signed that was at his peak. Because you got to remember, we signed him just after the '94 World Cup.
Yeah.
And he was at the peak of his powers. He wasn't like, I can mention him because you're not going to pick him up front. Van der Vaart. When we signed him, he was just... That's only my opinion, but Klinsmann was in the peak of his powers.
Yeah.
He only spent what? He spent a whole 1 season, and then he came back to save us from relegation, but my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it was only for a short time, but I do not remember any Spurs supporter saying anything bad about him.
No.
You just can't.
Yeah. He was at the peak of his powers, and like Van der Vaart, you're obviously not picking, they got what it was to play for Tottenham. Klinsmann still loves the club.
Oh, absolutely. I thought he'd one day actually manage the club, to be honest, but that hasn't happened yet. I don't think it will, but I thought he might.
Yeah. Great choice, Mark, which leaves you one more to pick, which will be your final striker, your number 9, sir, please.
This is going to be no surprise to anybody here. It has to be the one and only Harry Kane.
I was waiting for you. I was going to put his name in, but I was waiting for you to say Sheringham.
What does Harry mean for you, Mark, being a Spurs supporter?
Harry Kane is the epitome of Spurs. I watched him. I remember when he came on and scored his first goal for Spurs in a League Cup match, and you just knew from the very that moment that kid's going to be good. He's going to be quality. And all the people said, yeah, he got 20 goals, but wait till next season. He won't do it again. And every season he's been proving his doubters wrong. Utter quality, utter class.
Fantastic, Mark. I don't think, I mean, I can't add any more to that.
I was going to say, the only things I can say about, the only thing, and I've said this because obviously Harry's a very popular pick, model, professional.
Yeah. 100%.
On the back pages rather than the front pages.
Yeah, 100%.
You never hear a single thing that he's done that gets him on the front page. Ever.
Nothing.
And I'm just gutted that he never actually won nothing with us because of anybody.
I always think Harry Kane's slightly like Hoddle, that he's going to be underappreciated until he's finished his career, and then people will realise how good he is or was.
Yeah. You're spot on, Mark. You're spot on. So you've picked your 11 so far. So now all I can ask you is, do you want to change any of that team? Because if you do, you need to do it now. Because once it disappears from the screen, it's gone.
No, I'm fine with it. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. So Sherry's going to say the famous.
Is that a lock it in?
Yeah.
Lock it in.
That is a lock it in. There you
go.
Gone. It's gone.
Fantastic 11, Mark. That's brilliant stuff. What we're gonna do now is we'll move on to your substitutes that you've picked. You can reel them off in your own time. You chat away, Mark. Tell us about your substitutes.
No worries. The second goalkeeper, or the substitute goalkeeper I've picked, is none other than Ray Clements.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What a player, eh? Ray was.
Yeah.
Just a fantastic goalkeeper. Ray Clements was.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
He was very unlucky that he was in the same era as Peter Shilton.
Yeah.
And he had to sort of share the England. He had to share the England shirt with him, didn't
he? Yeah, he did. Okay, Mark. Next one, mate.
Second substitute is none other than Gary Lineker.
Tell us about Gary a bit at Spurs, Mark, because believe it or not, Mr. Lineker hasn't been picked a lot.
I thought there might be a few names off that list that might not be picked, and I thought he might be one, to be honest. And there'd be a lot of sharing of other people. But, Gary Lineker was the original fox in the box.
Yeah. He certainly was.
I think he only ever scored one goal from outside the box for us.
A lot of his goals were in the 6-yard box, weren't they? As you say, Mark, fox in the box. Scored an awful lot of goals for Tottenham, and he'll be very well remembered as well at Spurs.
Yeah.
We'll move on to your third one, Mark. Who's your third one, sir?
My third one covers both left back and centre back. It's Jan Vertonghen.
Oh, super Jan. Yeah. Brilliant stuff.
There you go. Yeah, definitely. He's been a very popular choice.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah, he has. He has so far. Yeah. Your fourth one, Mark?
It was a real toss up to try and get him in midfield, but it had to be another then, a Modric.
Modric, yeah. Still playing today, Mark.
Yeah.
Real Madrid.
Still very good.
40 years old, virtually.
Ballon d'Or winner. Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah. Superb choice again, Mark. This is some squad you got here, mate.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it?
One more, Mark, from you, please.
I thought if I needed something to happen in the last 10 minutes, I had to bring on this man. It's one of Savage favourite players. It's David Ginola.
Hey, David's made it in. Brilliant. That's fantastic. We love a bit of David.
Yeah. Double player of the year in a very average. Let's just call it average. We won't swear on it, but a very average team at the time.
Yes,
double player of the year.
Yeah, superb. Great stuff. Mark, that's a fantastic squad you've picked there, sir. So that'll all be locked in, but we've got 2 more questions for you. On the spot questions. Can you tell us, Mark, who would be the captain of your lifetime team, please?
Captain of my lifetime team. Ooh. I'm going to give it to Ledley King.
That is the correct answer.
Correct.
There's no right or wrongs, but that team, that is the correct answer.
Yeah. It could have been wrong if you'd have said Sol.
We just finished the show. It would have been Carl.
Oh, that's brilliant. Great choice, Mark. And one final question for you. Who would be the manager of your lifetime team?
Do I go third? I'm going to go for ep12, Terry Venables.
Yeah, brilliant. That's a great choice, Mark. We've had a few ep12s, haven't we, Mark?
Yeah, there has been
a few.
I was going to say, like, you're a little bit young. You're a bit younger than me. I was thinking that it can only be
Birkinshaw.
Yeah, Birkinshaw, ep12, Harry, Poch, maybe Martin Yole thrown in there.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant, Mark. Absolutely fantastic. So, Mark's chosen his team, his squad. He's picked his captain. He's picked his manager. All there is to say is, Mark, thanks so much for coming on and doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Please sub to the channel, but more importantly, hit the notification bell. This series is going to be coming out soon. I keep saying it on every video, but it is coming soon. It's going to start dropping soon. Hit the bell to make sure you don't miss anything. On that note, thanks again, Mark. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
She